Is it friends or the family? Is it snow or the Christmas tree? Is it the time we're spending together that's making our magic in this cold weather? Smiles all around with sound of laughter, the good vibes we all seek and looking after. Taking a break through everyday trouble, enjoying the moments in Christmas bubbles. When it snows, snow, snow, hear the ho, 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 we know it's Christmas Day. Santa show how we go, 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 with the reindeers and the sleigh. Leaving gifts behind with the thoughts in mind for the wishes that were made. With a happy face, it is all in place, then the presents we all trade.
Wow.
Hello, hello, hello. I
What a
know,
banger.
Wallace. So festive, so festive.
Yeah.
I should have probably linked the song below, but it's made by my brother. It's on Spotify. Maybe I'll link it during the first sprint. Who knows?
So talented.
Sure, sure.
You're
Sure.
the one using his songs.
I
Come on.
know, I know. Look, it's the multiverse of madness here. Okay. Welcome welcome all to another Tuesday, and this is going to be the Writers' Chat of the month. Joined today, as always, forever and always, the Lummel, if you will, Malin. How are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, I could lie and say I'm doing good, but I'm currently still doing work for work, and it's 6 o'clock, and I normally finish at 5:30. So that's what I'll be doing during the sprints.
Look at you go. That's what it's like to be the newest hire at the office, I guess.
No, the problem being that everyone's off on holiday already, and I am not yet. So
I feels that I don't get off until Friday, but then I'm off for like a week, so shan't
Yeah.
complain. And I'm Stig. Today we're talking about a book, and specifically we're talking about this book, which is On Writing and World Building and Blurry.
It's blurred.
It's blurred. Maybe can Malin present? Oh, imagine that's what it looks like. I just have a blurred background because there's a lot of mess. So we're going to be talking a little bit about this book. I find generally these books to be a bit hard to discuss in the same vein as we talk about other craft books.
Yeah.
By the fact that it's just like, it's more of a lexicon than it is a craft book per se. But we'll dive more into that once we talk to our friends like Keiko. Hello, how are you? Whatever happened to you? We're also joined, I'm turn off this blur because it's driving me nuts. Also joined by Wallace, popping in for a quick second, watching Kate Kavanaugh's news vlog, and damn, I'm inspired. Might attempt my own version of a ramp-up week starting tomorrow. What's a ramp-up week? Call in.
It sounds like the opposite of what I would want to do. Like, it just sounds...
A wind-down week?
Yes, exactly. Please give me a wind-down week.
Yeah, maybe Kate Kavanaugh does custom content. I don't know. Let's call in. Yes, festive. We're joined by Crystal. Hello, hello. Recovering from work. Whew. Can Malin relate to that?
Yeah.
Kitty Ann is here. Hiya. And Anna says, excited to hear about this book. You and me both, bestie. You and me both. Wallace says she does 1K on Monday, 2K on Tuesday. Yeah. A ramp up to what? Burnout?
So, like, is it 1K, then 2K, and then for an entire week? Or is it for more than a week? She said a week, right? So, for a total of 28K. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Oof.
So that's like a third.
7,000 hours in a day could never be me.
That's an entire act. I just don't I don't think my mind could handle this.
But there's bigger size queens out there than us, so. The deliveries for Christmas started to come in and people are buying like crazy. So, yeah, fair. Yeah. Wallace says, I just want to see if I can do it. And I totally believe you can.
I feel like I could do a toned down version of that. Like just half
100 word on Monday, 200 words Tuesday.
That would be very easy. But I mean, like, even just halved, that would be doable. Like, if you do 500 words to start with and you end up with 3.5K on the last day, I could do 3.5K in a day. So that's not scary. But 7K, that's too much,
So Stig and Malin are out. Kitty, anyone else want to join? Make an event for it in the Discord. That's what we live and thrive for. But yeah, we're here to talk about on writing and world building. There's also going to be some sprints because Mala needs to finish work.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the second volume. You and I did actually. I think we did the
Yeah.
first book
We did the
a couple of
first book
months ago.
together.
It's on the channel in a playlist, probably somewhere. Cute cover on the book. I do actually like it. I think he makes them himself, but I
Yeah.
do like them.
Do I have the first one? Because the first one's nice as well. Yeah, I do.
I have them out in the living room, but I do not have
Yeah.
the. Oh, there you
That
go.
was
And the
very
third one
cute.
is also nice, but I do really like the vibe of them.
Yeah.
A little bit about the author. He's the genius question mark behind Hello Future Me, a channel that maybe a lot of writers know about question mark.
I feel like I found out about it through his books first, personally, but I feel like other people may have known about it before his books.
I definitely heard about Hello Future Me before I started reading this book and the previous one. I'm just trying to find my
Yeah.
notes there. So hold on, hold for pause. There you go. Yeah. Just briefly, Timothy Hickson, I think he's Australia, New Zealand, something one over the other. New Zealand
New
writer, I
World.
think. New World writer. I just wanted to show his Goodreads picture because I thought it was so funny. It looks like a Hinge profile picture, and I mean
Oh,
that
honestly.
in a derogatory sense. Uh, but what is this author
Oh,
photo?
yeah, like the sunglasses and everything. That's so funny.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. And then he has another one on Amazon, which is just his cat, which I also thought was funny. But yeah, Timothy Hickson, Australian writer, he's published some fiction called A Catalogue for the End of Humanity, which I think is a great title for a
It's a very
collection of
good title,
original
yeah.
sci-fi and fantasy stories with illustrations. He has a great voice. I love listening to his content.
Yeah, I like
And
his videos.
it
Yeah.
was kind of funny because I was checking my notes. For his channels and his page when we did the first book, and his YouTube channel had 1.15 million subscribers when we did the first book. No,
Yeah.
1.11 when we did the first book, and now it has 1.15. So it's like 300,000 words viewers in a
That's
couple of
pretty
months,
good.
which is a
Yeah.
lot. I think I saw somewhere that this book has sold like 100,000 copies. So people are buying it, which is good. And yeah, I think that's about it. The book is divided into two sections, one on writing and one on world building. And it's very clear on the backside what the covers entail,
Oh,
which I
yeah.
really do like, because you can be like, oh, I need to come up with a royal family. And it has like, oh, a page on monarchies. Let me look up, which is very practical. So I like that part of it.
Which is what I initially had done. I was just picking and choosing what I wanted to read, and then you said, "Do you want to join me on this?" And I was like, "Fuck, I have to read the whole thing now."
Fuck. Well, we did, in my defense, agree that you just read whatever you want and I'll
I
read the
did
entire
read the
thing.
whole thing, though. Yeah.
So this is on you, babes. This is on you.
Look,
But yeah,
you can't say that to a moon in Virgo. What are you expecting here?
yeah, I expecting what I got, so that's cool. But yeah, this one contains fight scenes, handling pacing, mentor characters, fantasy and alien races, monarchies, place names, all good stuff on the back, which I really appreciate because that makes it easy for me to pick up any of the volumes and go like, oh, I'm writing about a mentor character, which I'm currently working on for my own novel. So I was like, I'll
Nice.
just read this first. So that's my like initial, I think, general thought that this is not a book you read from cover to cover.
Yeah, and I actually will say that I enjoyed reading the chapters that I had picked initially, and then when I got into reading all the ones that I didn't need, I got a bit bored, so I really should have stuck to just the ones that I needed because like you can feel the difference when you're reading because you're trying to use the content for something you're going to use versus when you're just reading for the sake of it.
Yeah, I think I find it difficult to kind of absorb knowledge about class, wealth, and power if I'm not writing
Yeah.
currently something that deals with class, wealth, and power. Uh, or like first person. Like I don't write first persons. I don't need to know this chapter, but I did read it. And I will say every chapter has a summary at the end of it. And I think you could just get away with reading the summaries, to be fair, because a lot of the book is just bloated with examples. And
Yeah.
also a lot of Harry Potter examples, which, especially on the writing parts, had a lot of
What's
Harry
funny though,
Potter
that's the one
examples.
you notice the most. I always notice how many examples he uses from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm like, oh my god,
Oh,
I mean, I love it, but it's so
I've never seen
interesting.
Avatar, so maybe that's why. So yeah, he
Okay.
has very modern. I do appreciate that, very modern examples, both from movies and from books. Um, Compared to a lot of other craft books I feel like we've read,
Yeah.
which have maybe like, ooh, Catcher in the Rye. This is how they did character development. And I'm like,
What
okay,
was there in the other one? It was The Great Gatsby, wasn't it? That.
yeah, something like, okay, this book is 300 years old. Time to modernize it. And every chapter, can I get a viewing? Maybe every chapter has an intro to like
Hmm.
what literature is used as example. So if you're like, I'm actually reading Numinous by Michael Wright, so I will avoid this for now. So
Yeah.
that's for sure something that I noticed. Let's see. Katie is joining Wallace in his madness because she needs to get into actually writing. Who knew? Wendy is here. Hello, hello, hello. But my Christmas present to myself, says Keiko, arrived today. Dragon Age, the Art of Veilguard art book, and I'm so excited to read it, but only on the 24th. Ooh, I love a good art book for a game. I almost got the oh my god, the special edition. That's not what it's called. Exclusive edition, extended edition. You know, the big package for Baldur's Gate 3. But then I ended up not getting it, and I regret in hindsight.
Oh, was it
Um,
like discounted or something? Or
yeah, I don't think you can get it anymore. Can
uh,
you? Oh my god, I just
I
presumed
don't
it was
know.
for like,
I
because you had to
haven't played.
pre-order. You had to
I'm not.
pre-order. You had to pre-order the game to get it, I think.
I'm not one of the people who's lost hours of my life playing the game, unfortunately, even though I'm
I
very
am,
thankful
and I'm not mad
for all the
about it.
ones.
But yeah, I do love a good art book. Oh yes, love Hello Future Me. See, Keiko knows. Got to his book through his channel. There you go. New Zealand. He had a little bit of Lotter wedding with his wife.
Oh,
Okay, love that.
that is cute.
Uh, we'll need to see through his Instagram later if there's pictures. The on-writing books have to be my favorite craft books. Controversial opinion coming up after the first sprint, but I don't think this is a craft book.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Uh,
Well, I mean, I guess.
I mean, it's a book about the
Yeah,
craft, but it's not a
yeah,
craft book.
yeah.
Does that make
It's
sense?
it's more like an encyclopedia. It's like a thesaurus, but just about world
Yeah,
building stuff. You know.
yeah, I agree. He made almost 3 hours video ripping apart Rings of Power. Oh, but I do enjoy Rings of Power. So I also love the
Yeah.
spoiler warning for what shows, movies, books are used as examples. Yep. Anna says, I love reading these books when I have a spark of an idea and I'm in the ideating, I, I
Yes.
editing, I
I
don't
think you
know,
said that right the first time. Ideating.
ideating phase of world building. That seems to be the most helpful to me. Absolutely agree. Also, if I'm stuck in something while drafting, like I was for my midpoint,
Midpoint. Yeah.
that I just started
Useful.
writing, I was like, oh, something's happening to the mentor here. Guess
It's
what?
literally
Uh,
before you'd mentioned we were going to pick this book up, I had started reading most of the world building parts of it for Project Snow. So it was the same as like Anna. I was just trying to think of ideas before I start writing any of the actual plot. So the world building parts, these books are really great when you're just starting to think and doing like mood boards and everything. It's the perfect timing for it, I find.
I find it easier to do this kind of reading after I got something because I'm
Mm.
like, I have this lump of clay, but I don't know what to do with it. And then I can read one of these chapters, like the mentor chapter or cities or
Yeah,
towns, and I'm like, okay, this is what I do with this lump of clay.
but
That's
to be
easier for me.
fair, I have been ignoring most of the on writing parts, and I don't think they're very useful for me. And that's where like things like the mentor characters and things like that are in his categorization. And the world building parts have been more useful for me at the start. But if I were to use it from the writing point of view and being like, I'm sort of stuck and I need a mentor character, or like I'm writing one and I don't know how to write it, then that would be useful after the fact. But for the world building aspect, I find it really useful to get ideas about what I'm world building exactly, because even you might not think of the categories he's got, and then he's telling you how to name your cities, and you're like, oh, didn't think about the fact that I needed to name my cities. So it's like a, I don't know. So different aspects of the book I find useful at different times of the
That's
writing
very
process.
fair. I have always, yeah, sure. I always have like such a strong grasp on my world, I feel like, but it's like the plot and the characters that are kind of wishy-washy for me. So
Yeah.
I like to just spew out what I can think of and then go back and like mold the dough using this. For example, this thing. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about like different world building things too.
Nice.
So that's usually where I got him from. Crystal says, I meant to air quote the craft books, guys. I can't digest craft books. I usually get bored. Lol, let me have this. You're talking to a Virgo and a Capricorn. We don't get bored with nonfiction
We want to know.
content
We want to
that
know
we're
all of the
interested.
rules so we can break all of the rules. So
Literally, there's not a craft book that I will not read, I think, except for maybe On Writing by Stephen King, and that's not even a craft book. It's a resource book. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's a
yeah,
resource book.
I like that too.
And sure, you can find all this online, but I like having it in a book. It feels like, I don't know, there's something about the physicality of pulling it
Yeah,
off the shelf and I'm like looking it up.
I
And
find
like,
it more useful when it comes to resource books, like theaters and stuff like that. I just prefer
yeah,
having it in my hands. Yeah.
digital stuff kind of always overwhelms me sometimes because I'll open like 15 tabs about something. I'm like,
Funnily enough,
okay,
the digital stuff I find useful for actual craft books. So once, but not specifically the book, but like once we've read, say, Save the Cat, I like to make my notes in Notion like you do, and then go back
oh
to my
yeah,
notes
yeah, 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 yeah.
online. But when it comes to like top specific topics about world building and things like that, I like the physicality of it.
Yeah, 100%. We are so in tune with this whole craft situation. I'm obsessed. We were joined by Becca, also obsessed with Becca. Hello, hello. And Regina, also obsessed with Regina. Are you following me? She accuses Becca for. Who knows? Who knows at this point? We're going to do some sprinting and then we're going to go back. And the way I'm thinking about doing it, which I haven't really talked to Malin about, so she'll learn it
Oh,
just as you learn it,
surprise
is
me.
that I want to do just one chunk of talking about generally the on writing points and maybe our thought process behind it and like specifically talking about these subjects. And like, because I think just going through the list and be like, so what's your thought on civil wars? I think that can be kind of boring. So I think we'll just have a
Yeah.
general discussion. And then the same with the on world building part, that we'll just have a general discussion about
So
our
just
process. And yeah.
a preface based on that format is that I'm probably going to be a bit more negative about the on writing stuff and a bit more positive about the on world building stuff.
You can
Because
be whatever you want, Malin, and I will still follow you until the ends of the earth.
amazing, amazing, love that.
Also, look at this cute mug I got from my friend.
Oh, so cute, Swifty. That's so
And
adorable.
it has, you can't really tell because the camera refuses to zoom, but
You need to do the beauty guru thing. Don't tilt it. Is there something in there?
no, I drank it all.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't really, can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see
It's
it?
still blurred. Send us a picture in
Oh,
the Discord. Send a picture.
I just needed to not be blurred. Can I like cover it with a page?
With the book behind.
Oh, here's my camera. But yeah, cute mug.
Love it.
So I wanted to show that off. Yeah, we're going into the first sprint. We're using Focused. I might make the in-between bits a bit longer since we're actually talking about craft. But what's your preferred poison in terms of sprint length?
Could we do 30? Does that sound
Ooh,
okay?
yeah, that sounds. You can get anything you want.
I'm just really hoping that within 30 minutes I can get a bunch of shit done for work and then I can stop doing work.
I would love that. Would love that journey for you. Focus. Do I have to reload? There you go. Yes. Let's see. Present. Share screen. Focus. Share. Let's do this festive little cabin. This looks so cozy.
It does.
Oh, speaking of cozy cabins, before we dive into the first sprint, I watched The Holiday yesterday, and I was first of all gutted to learn that the cottage doesn't actually exist. But
Oh my god, if
also,
only you'd watched it before. We didn't know that. He only revealed that like a month ago or something, and everyone
I
was
know.
really upset at him.
But yeah, it looks so cozy. So this kind of gives me Rose Hill Cottage. Is that what it's called? Uh, yes, this gives me Rose Hill Cottage vibes. So we're going to go into this first sprint. 30 minutes on the clock, starting now. Ring a ding ding ding. How did you do, Malin?
I finished work from work.
Yay! Congratulations!
I'm now free to do work for me.
Yay!
Yay! And that's on my Moon in Virgo once again.
Slay. I outlined the back half of my novel because I really don't know what's happening in the back half of Act 2.
Fair.
I have one scene in mind, and that's like the break into 3 ending. So,
I mean,
whatever.
that's good to have at least one scene, though. Then you've got something to work around. Because even though it's only one scene, you can always be like, I need to know what leads to that, and then
Good point. Good point. Let's see. Crystal says, I alternate watching his videos and reading the books depending on what I need and where I am. I have all 3 stacked right under my monitor for whenever I need them.
that's pretty
That
good.
seems practical.
I haven't bought the third one yet. I can't remember.
I
But feel
have
like-
all 3, but I
Can you
do.
remind me what the topics on the third one are? Because I feel like that's probably why I didn't buy it. Because oh, there's less that I put. Is it far away? Sorry.
No, the things I do for you, Malin, it's fine.
Bring me the book.
Bring me his head. Then you get to just enjoy the messy background of my bedroom. Let's see, number 3. Oop. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Screen went black, so I don't know.
No, I'm there.
No HDIM signal.
I can see you. You're still there. You know, so I don't really know what's going on.
What do you mean no HDMI signal? Come on, computer. I see just a black screen.
Have you tried wriggling all the different cables back in place?
Ooh, have I tried wriggling, Mullen? Let's see what happens now. No signal. Oh, great.
That's weird because I mean, I can see you, and I'm pretty sure no one else can see you.
Yeah, I don't even know. I did nothing but sit down on my computer, and that was enough.
Do you know where your HDMI cable is? Can you just unplug it and replug it? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Is it the monitor that like you've got that's black, or is everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the monitor. Oh, I don't have time for this.
I'm so sorry I asked you what was in book 3. I feel like this was the reason why everything happened.
There you go. There you go. All the cables that are in. I don't know why. Why is God punishing me? Is this my HDMI? Is this one of them things where I need to... Let's try and unplug it from the... Yep, that's definitely an HDIM cable.
HDIM now.
No cable connected. Yeah, because I just pulled it out. Let me see here. I love that it's happening live on main too.
Yeah, and we get to see everything as well.
Beautiful. There. Cable in, inserted. Cable not connected, apparently. Ugh, I hate
What?
technology. I don't know.
But like,
That do anything? No. HDMI, no signal. But it's there, I swear. But the power of Grayskull.
what's going on?
I have no clue.
I don't know how to troubleshoot this. My only methods are plug it out and back in, turn it off and back on, you know?
It just says HDMI, no signal. And she sure is right. There's no signal. I can't do this with a black screen.
Wait, are you not seeing any other screen? Like, as in, like, are you on dual screen, or is it the one screen?
Oh, it's just the monitor. I mean, who's gone black?
Yeah.
So let's pull up the old trusted laptop. Let's see, StreamYard. Let's just wipe off the camera, maybe. Oh, that is messy. Okay.
Crystal says, might need to restart your computer. Graphics card could have hiccuped.
I don't have time for hiccups. I'll just join on my MacBook and then I'll kick myself out. Oop, and there I am. Let's see. At the stage.
Hello.
This is crazy. It's just two cameras on you.
There you go. I guess this is the rest of the stream. Hello, hello.
Oh God. I don't understand what happened, because we, like you saw, we could see you fine. So
I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm going to turn off my PC now and see what happens. Hold it button for 10 seconds. Well, I can do this in a sprint, I guess.
Yeah.
But yes, where were we? Let's see. We're joined by JC. How's the audio? My earbuds are somewhere, but not in my ear.
I can still hear you quite well. It's just you can see the difference of type of sound, but you're fine in terms of volume and everything. So.
And Regina says, I am postponing my coloring book until after New Year's because although I practiced and succeeded with 2 other paperback covers, this one did not pass the magic Amazon troll, so I'll work on that later. Oh, I'm sorry. Becca read a couple of chapters for a book they're beta reading.
Nice.
And Crystal just watched videos and chilled.
Nice.
We see both. Oh my god, I just scheduled my copy edits to send. This book is like done.
Goody! Amazing.
I don't have a job approved, but you'll get one tomorrow.
Your job approved.
Oh wow, 3 is going to help so much for the prequel. I feel like this is Masquerade something.
Okay, I don't know it then.
Mortal Masquerade and the other book after that.
Okay.
I made Christmassy mailing labels, open scrivener, then got coffee.
Nice.
Ooh, blue glow, yeah. Congratulations to Katie. Warranted. Regina says, it's so funny because we can still see both of you.
Yeah, like you were there.
I was going to say restart your computer, but that will kick Marlon out. It didn't. I turned it off now, so let's see.
I don't think it kicks you out. It just means you're gone, but then I'm there without control of anything.
Yeah, I need to make you like a co-owner of the channel is what I'm hearing. Okay, the audio is passable. Yep. Don't mind me just over here crying while Stieg has technical difficulties. You cried my pain, lady? But yeah, back to On Writing and World Building Volume 3, Malin.
Yeah, yes.
Subjects include, but are not limited, well, I guess they are limited to character descriptions, death scenes, dialogue, subtext in dialogue, darkest hours, show don't tell, plot armor, environment descriptions, elemental magic systems, anti-heroes, and paragon heroes. That's the on-writing bit, which is quite extensive.
Yeah, it's much bigger than the world building part.
On world building is Death and the Afterlife, Cities and Towns. Isn't that one in this one?
There's like something about cities.
Cities and Towns.
well.
Okay, Cities and Towns Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. There's an entire chapters about mountains, island civilizations. Oh, I need to look into that. And then fallen civilizations.
Island civilizations. Oh, interesting. Oh, I love
I'll just send you
fallen
my.
civilizations. Sounds great.
I'll just send you my Notion page if you want, because my fantasy project is an island civilization. So
I feel like the reason why I didn't buy this one is probably because of how short the world building part was, and I feel like I enjoy the world building a lot more than his on writing pages.
That's fair. I just like to collect things. So I was just like, yeah, I bought all the 3 of them at once.
Yes, yeah, I do like that you've got the complete trilogy.
Yeah, in the wrong order, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, and they are handy, I will say.
Yeah.
But today we're not talking about number 3. We're talking about number 2, which is this bad boy.
And we're going to on writing.
On writing, we're going to specifically talk about on writing, and I'm not sure how to do this part. So if you got any suggestion, then please.
I mean, should we just freeball it? Like, I can start telling you how I felt about the section, and then if there's anything specific we remember that we're like, that was really useful for me for this reason.
Yes, let's do that.
I mean, in general, for me, I didn't like this section, the overarching section, as much as the world building, because I felt like it was a lot of things I already knew. So it's nothing to do with Timothy Hickson himself. I just feel
Got
like,
everything to do with him.
you know, it was just a lot of things repeated from craft books we have read, because he mentioned a few times the creating character one, I think, which we read at some point.
Last
And
month, question mark, or the month before,
yeah,
October?
like really recently, before the you did the November, we didn't do anything because fake nano. October, you did the writing in the dark with
Writing in
Laura.
the Dark, yeah.
It would have been the month before that. But my main gripe with that section, and same in the first book, I remember, is that it doesn't really feel like it makes sense in the order. Like there's no rhyme or reason, I feel like, to the
That is
order of
true.
it.
It's like an
It's
archival
like,
system where you pull up
here's a bit of that.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like because he does talk about in the preface that he wrote the first one without the intention of making more books. So I
Yeah.
guess that's why, like, you can't actively retrofit, like, oh, in this volume 1, I'm gonna do everything about characters
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I do guess, like, if you want to get one of them, it kind of behooves you to have a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah.
But I do agree that, yeah, it's rather a mishmash of subjects. This one has fight scenes, handling, pacing, mentor characters, positive arcs and redemption arcs, power escalation in a magic system, flashbacks and backstory, civil wars, first person, and dark lords.
So the ones I will say were probably the most useful, and I enjoyed the most because of that. And I think it's because they're borderline world building stuff. I probably enjoyed fight scenes just because I write a lot of fight scenes. I enjoyed mentor characters because I feel like it's quite an interesting topic in general. Everyone has a sort of mentor character, even if they're not as prominent as like in, you know, Gandalf or Dumbledore or whatever, right? Like you can have a smaller
Oh my god, my mentor character starts with the G2. Gandalf. Oh, there you
what's
go.
your mentor character again? What's his name?
Her name is Grace.
Grace. Okay, yeah. That's so funny because that's Olive's mom who is
Yeah,
a bit-
it is, isn't it? But my Grace is cooler, though. My Grace is cooler than yours.
You've
Olive's
got a
mom,
good Grace. I've got a bad Grace.
she's not a girl's girl, so your Grace.
No. I enjoyed the flashbacks because that's one of my main issues. So just in general, that was most useful for me. And I think I enjoyed Civil Wars from what I remember. But a lot of the rest I felt like was very obvious advice we've already read in other things, or sometimes just a bit, why did you write that in? That's just a bit boring type of advice.
Yeah, the one I kind of like, okay, this is sort of like whatever, but the positive arcs and redemption arcs, I was like, this is just this is in any craft book really. And like
Yeah.
they didn't bring any like, ooh, you use Zuko as an example. Congratulations, you and every other craft
Yeah.
author. Is that like the only redemption character that there is?
It's just the best one as an example, I guess. But
Yeah. Also, this has a chapter on Dark Lords, which I really digged for my story because I have a like, not a Dark Lord, but sort of a Dark Lord situation. So that was
I
really
thought it was
interesting.
semi-useful, but again, it was one of those where I was like, I sort of already know a lot of that. It didn't feel like brand new
Yeah.
information in a lot of those chapters.
But generally, I feel like on writing and world building is sort of like a baseline kind of encyclopedia. Like this is entry level
Yeah.
knowledge in writing. I feel like
I
a
think
lot of
it's the way that he organizes his thoughts is probably very anti-Virgo to me. And I just want one book
What do you
with
mean there's no system?
I want one book with all the world building and that's it. I don't like, you know, separate them and make me just the world building one.
Yeah,
And do you
this
know
is-
what? If he did it just for the cash, if he was like, I'm just going to separate the two sections into two brand new books for who wants to buy more books from me, I would buy the world building one.
Yeah, we can just make our own books on our Notion page, really, because I
Yeah.
took notes from the last one and I'm taking notes from this too.
Yeah.
So just like have one big world building Bible at the end.
But so you've used actively the mentor chapter when you were reading
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that like
Ooh, it was very good. It does talk about how much spoilers do I give? I don't want to do
just in
too
terms
many.
of like your process? Can you manage to talk through your process without giving spoilers about the actual stuff.
Yeah, because I was really struggling. Not struggling, but I was like, I was a bit like fumbling around with my mentor character. I'm like, ugh,
Mm.
I know what's happening to them, but I'm not sure that, because I feel like at some point I just think, does the mentor character have to die to further the main character's story? Like, that's kind of trite.
Yeah. Sorry,
Oh,
it's
do you
Edgar.
have a little boy?
Just saw his tail.
Oh,
Thank you
bye.
for opening the door. I
Yeah,
don't know.
so I use it actively in my planning bits, like you did.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I have this chapter, I know what's going on. I read the mentor chapter, and then I sort of looked back at my Act 1 and my first half of Act 2, and I was like, okay, so this is what I got. Kind of like the lump of clay situation I generally work with. Like, this is what I got. What do I do with it?
I love that metaphor just in general, because
The good one.
yeah.
Katie had one that was too funny, but it was clay, but it wasn't clay. I forget what it was, but it didn't work.
It just sounds like you're in Ghost the movie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, not you, as in because they make pottery in Ghost the movie, and so the
Oh,
metaphor-
Ghost the movie. Yeah. Very sexy
not your
characters.
voice, don't worry. The sound
Yeah,
is still
very
fine.
sexy character. So that's one thing. Like, I like to have something to work with before I start using stuff like this.
Mm.
But you're the opposite, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally, I feel like the writing sections, some of them, as you say, very much borderline world building. Like, for example, mentor characters. I feel like that's more world building.
Yeah.
Scenes,
Dark
definitely
Lords
like,
as well. I thought that was more world building, yeah.
yeah. But generally, the writing advice, yeah, it's kind of like wishy-washy. I would rather you get a book with writing advice, like, for example, the one we read, Anatomy of Prose, I thought was really good.
Yeah.
And you can probably, like, for the actual craft of writing prose, I feel like this isn't very good.
I think that's the thing is my organized brain hated the way that the system functioned for this, because even some of the on writing chapters, not only did they not connect together one after the other, but also some of them were more like, here's how to improve on your dialogue and like prose and writing style, and then others were like, here's more about plot, and it was just so random. And I would have preferred, like you, that if there had been something a little bit more like Anatomy of Prose or like creating characters where it's like one specific topic and it just follows that through.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something the book struggles with, is the, like, there's no through line on the topics. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, fight scenes, handling pacing, mentor characters, civil wars. Like, there's no, like, overarching theme, I guess. That I
What was
kind of,
your least favorite chapter in the on writing section?
oh, first person, hands down. I do not care for her. I'm so sorry.
Same. I mean,
Yeah.
I like writing in first person, but I did not care about the chapter about it.
Yeah, the chapter. I mean, yeah, I just like, this is, I don't know. This could have been an email.
And it was literally mostly just about Twilight.
Yeah, which I always, and there was some Hunger Games too, wasn't there?
Yeah.
No, I forget.
I think there was a comparison, or maybe it wasn't Hunger Games, but there was definitely comparing Twilight versus something else that was similar.
But yeah, I thought like the first person chapter was like not really needed for this particular book, but I didn't write it, so that's not my call to make. And yeah, generally I do like the world building sections more than I like the writing sections.
Also, the way that the inside of those chapters was structured also bothered me, because I remember now that I'm just flicking through, even just the writing in first person chapter then has a whole part about filter words, and I was like, you could just have a chapter called filter words, because that's just also a big one on writing. I don't know. Oh, Stig, are you there? You've frozen. Am I talking to the void? Has Stig abandoned me, or am I the problem? Hello? Can anyone in the chat let me know if I'm still there? What happened? Is it me, Jesus? Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. I see the answers. Anna says, we hear you. Keiko says, nope, Stig froze. Okay. The void has claimed Stig. Yes, Crystal. Oh my god. And yeah, just holding the book up. Yeah, okay, good. Thank you for answering me. I was worried for a second. Oh no, he's gone and I have no control. I mean, all I can do is read the comments out loud, but I can't put them up. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. I don't know. I could talk about this by myself, or I can just chat with you guys while we wait for him. Best promotion picture. Yeah, it was a good pose. Crystal says, well, I'm a cat beddoll, snuggle time. Oh, snuggle time sounds good. I mean, I can show you Edgar in the meantime, if anyone's interested. Like, that's it. Just show my dog. Here we go. Here's some very nice content. Hello, baby. He's very tired. This is the content we get now. It's just animal. You tired? Yeah. Yeah, he's tired. He was at puppy daycare today, so he's exhausted. Other than that, so who's read the book in the chat? I feel like, Crystal, you said that was some of your favorites. Keiko's mentioned reading them. And, whoop, did I freeze? I think I froze for a second as well. Yeah, I don't really know what to do, whether to talk by myself about this, but then that's not really the point of this, or whether to talk about random stuff. I don't see any messages from Stig on Discord either, so slightly worried. Oh, Anna says, I have as well. I think making Notion notes is the way to go. Yeah, I agree. I feel like I've been doing that for the first book, but then the second one, I've been taking notes by hand. So I've got this little notebook that is dedicated to Project Snowstorm. Stig, are you back? No, maybe not. There's just a... There's just... Oh no, he's gone again. Oh my god, okay. So, like I said, I've got this little writing notebook for Project Snowstorm, and that's where I've been writing down anything that I'm taking from this book and any other world building books that I'm specifically reading for this project. Stig, are you back? Keep appearing and disappearing, and then just, I don't know. Are you gonna stay? What happened? Is it the internet? Is it the computer? Is it... Did you forget to charge it? Yeah, this is just it's very thin. Thank you, Crystal. It's very cute, these little ones. I just find them quite useful because they take so little space, and then I can generally take this with me everywhere. So I'm traveling, obviously, for Christmas to see my family in Brussels. I'm leaving tomorrow. So it's nice to have like a handwritten notebook that I can take with me that is very small and thin. I think Stig is still attempting to join us. I feel like I'm... He's plagued today, yeah. I feel like this is like I'm doing Ouija or something and trying to reach out to the spirit of Stig and being like, are you there with us? Give us a sign. 1 blink of your camera for yes, 2 for no. Yeah, so I don't really know what else to say without spoilers, because I'm literally going to talk about this part more when we get into the world building part, because that's where I've been taking notes. And I literally have passages that are from... They have like he has like a whole chapter on cities and towns and stuff like that. And I found that really useful. And I think in the first one, there's something about naming conventions. Maybe not. Maybe it is in the second one. So, oh yeah, place names. I think that's probably one of my favorite chapters because you never really think about that kind of stuff. Oh, hello, you're back.
What is going on? I could get the screen to work now, but it did not want to recognize my microphone or my web camera.
I don't know what was going on, but you were like connecting, disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting. And I was like, how do I hold this solo conversation with people in the chat? And
Flawlessly, I bet. Flawlessly. What did I interrupt?
so I decided, well, I'll show you my dog, and then we went to see Edgar on the couch for a second, but he's very sleepy,
As
so
you
there's nothing
should,
to
as you
see.
should.
And then I was talking about my notebook where I've been taking handwritten notes for Project Snowstorm, which is where I've been taking notes about the book, specifically relating to Project Snowstorm, because then I transfer them into Notion once I'm like ordering them. But this is just raw notes on the fly of anything that comes through my mind. So there's no order to this. And then once I get into Notion, that's when I write it in a proper section, if that makes
Funny.
sense. So,
I
yeah.
use my Google Keep for that.
All digital.
I keep restarting. I keep restarting the Notion page for this project, so I'll throw everything I have now into like one little page, and then I start a new one, and then I end up with like an old page within an old page within an old page to kind of dig the information out. So at some point, I think I'm going to do that when I do the rewrites. I just have to okay, this is the official Bible. This is the official color for this
is
novel.
V version 5.7 _ final _ final _ for real this time.
Yeah, for sure that. Okay, I think I covered whatever I wanted to cover on writing. So we're going to dive into another focused sprinterino, and then we're going to do a little bit on world building. And then I think we just have to wrap up because this is touch and go.
I don't know what's going on with technology today. It's just
it is
cursed.
Vile.
Cursed.
But then it didn't want to let me add myself to the studio. It doesn't want to recognize my camera or my headset, but maybe it can recognize Flocus.
Do you want me to share otherwise, and then you can share from me sharing if that doesn't work, if you've got an issue?
Yeah, let's see how we go.
You made a mix of do and go.
25 minutes, does that sound all right?
That sounds perfect. I'm mostly just gonna eat. I'm hungry.
But the hungry caterpillar wanted more.
Cheese and bread.
Oh, how French are you? Okay, now my StreamYard crashed here, so let's see. Maybe you just share. How about we do that?
Okay. Let me just set it up. Did you say 25 minutes?
Yeah, 25 minutes, or whatever works for you at this point. I feel like
25 minutes is good. That's all good for me.
Let's cover some comments before we go in. Crystal says, it's going to help me with 3 separate books, if that's what I'm saying. Oh, cool. That's cool. Eternal stream, never ending. Is your grace also Catherine Hahn, Malin? Katie wants to know.
Actually, no, not in my head. I'm thinking more, Lily van der Woodsen, that kind of vibe.
That is giving grace, if I ever saw her.
Yeah, that is, and which is funny because I've never watched more than like 1.5 episodes of Gossip Girl because I can't do it.
I just know it from the memes.
Yes, exactly, same.
That's so funny. Anna says, I feel like I'm holding out to him to publish on an omnibus that groups and that chapters thematically, and then I'll buy that.
Yes, I feel like Anna is getting the same organized brain vibes that I am about. Why is this not categorized?
For sure. Yeah, I froze. I know. You are fine, Molly. You truly are.
I was asking because you froze, but then I was like, what if it's me? Because there were no more comments either, so I couldn't tell. So I was like, can people in the chat just let me know if I'm still there? Which sounds like an existential crisis. Am I still there?
I think making Notion notes is the way to go. It does help me a lot organizing the thoughts. And I honestly just reading the chapter summaries will give you the gist of the chapters, which is the point, I guess. But yeah. Let's see. Crystal says, I've read parts of 2, lol. I've read 1 cover to cover. Yeah. I definitely think this is not the book to read cover to cover, as we already covered.
Yeah. But I like doing it just so I know what was actually useful for me. So
yeah, he's plagued today. I'm plagued every day, Wendy. Every day. I have been doing all my notes in my notes app because it's just always with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Apple added a tagging feature, was a godsend for me, all the random notes I make for myself. I just have one like Google Keep file that's just named the project, and then I'll just put every thought I have in there, and then I'll go through and sort it and put it into my Notion
Yeah.
page at some point.
I think the reason I've
Okay.
got this is because I started with reading books when it was still summerish. Maybe. I feel like maybe in September I started writing some stuff for Project Snowstorm and it was still nice outside. So I could be outside and not need to have my computer in the glare and everything. So it was like having a handwritten notebook was useful for that.
That makes sense. That does track. 25 minutes on the clock. We're going to come back. And we're gonna,
I forgot I was the one who had to press start for a second. I was like, oh
if
yeah,
the
shit.
internet allows, we'll talk a bit about the world, then we'll wrap up and hope that we make it to the end.
In 3,
Okay, 25
2,
minutes on the clock now. Lovely little chime there.
I like the soft one. It's very cozy.
I need to be startled awake with anxiety. That's what I need.
Nice.
How did you do?
I did good. I ate my pate, cheese, and bread, and got
Ooh,
followed by my dog a
pate.
lot. Yeah, the smell of the pate got my dog to follow me quite a lot. And then I managed to write 111 words in this
Slay.
new version of a mishmash of several chapters that I'm making right now.
I love that journey for you. And I worked on my back half. I also wrote the final line for my mentor character. Spoiler alert. She's not making it out of here. But it was so like, ugh.
Did you get inspired by some parts of the chapter that were
I got
specifically?
inspired. Actually, I did, because it was talking about how, making character death matter.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, this character, what's their dream? And then I made like the last line in reference to the dream. And I was like, ugh, I'm just going to show it. It's going to be 2.5 years until this book is published, if I ever publish it. So you're going to forget it by then. But her last line is, I'll see you in the next show, kid. Because
Oh
her
my
big dream is
god.
to open a Wild West show.
A classic. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I feel like I kind of ate with that. Let's see. Anna filmed a vlog outro. Good job.
Nice.
And Wendy wrote 295 words. Emojis, not words.
You
Had
wrote
zero progress.
295 emojis?
I am so confused.
Just kidding. Is the
I
JK?
don't know.
No? I don't know.
JK, yeah. But we're not kidding. We're here on business, on serious business. On
Very
party
serious.
business only. Crystal says, snuggle the kitty, watch the videos. We're going to talk a little bit about your favorite bits and bobs on world building.
Yay.
And as you can see, it has quite the extensive catalog of world building here. Just like a quick round, hot fire seat, is that what it's called? Seat of fire? Hot seat, whatever. What's your favorite bit? Like, what's your favorite chapter?
Out of all of them. So I think the place names is probably the one that had the most brand new information for me and very useful.
Good.
So I really enjoyed that one. And if I'm allowed to give a second, I would say monarchies, probably because Project Snowstorm is very monarchy based. There's a lot about monarchies in there. So
I will
these are
never be royals.
Yeah.
My favorite was also monarchies. Love that. Place names. I have read a lot of articles about place names. Naming things is one of my favorite businesses when it comes to writing.
And I think he mentions a lot about the Lord of the Rings as examples in that one, which is great.
It does. Because, I'm in my Lord of the Rings era. But the one I enjoyed the most was maybe the class system stuff, because I have a class system set up in, not class system. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a class system set up in my fantasy project that I'm not supposed to be thinking about right now.
Now, if only he had swapped, if he'd put cities and towns right after place names, then everything would make perfect sense. Like, I don't
okay, Virgo, calm down. I don't know the logic and the structure behind it.
Because there's 3 chapters that follow each other that make perfect sense together. And if anything, you should have like world histories, then cities and towns and place names together, because it's all about location and geography and everything. And then you should have monarchies, class, wealth, and power, how class systems are maintained, how class systems collapse together. I feel like
that would be the perfect structure. Timothy Hickson, if you're checking feedback, Marlin's got a dossier for you.
I can help with the structure, please.
Yeah, clearly not a Virgo editor for this book, but maybe there is a reason for it. I don't know.
But I did enjoy all of these middle ones, to be fair. I don't think I cared much for the fantasy and alien races, because I'm not building any fake or like, I'm just not doing that kind of stuff in any of my books, really. Everyone's human or enhanced humans, so nothing.
That's an alien race, though, maybe? Or
No, because they're not an alien race. They're just. I'm thinking about Space Princess Project. Like, there's a lot of
okay.
genetic stuff happening, but they're still humans. And then
Yeah, I dabble in fantasy creatures, but it's like the run-of-the-mill ones.
Mm.
So
that wasn't too useful for me. And the hard versus soft world building, it was interesting, but I don't understand. Like, it was an essay, and I was just like, why did you throw that in there? Again, you're perturbing my Virgo brain. So
yeah, Molly.exe has stopped working.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like these were some good chunks. Like you said,
Yeah.
the monarchies, world history, class wealth, class systems, rise and fall, all good bits and all very
Yeah.
relevant for my fantasy project. So I enjoy that.
That's where I had so many notes as well.
Ooh.
I'm just trying to look back to what I had. I think I mentioned some of it maybe in one of my world building videos on Notion. Yeah, I think I took through the monarchy stuff because I took some notes while I was reading it, and then just would try and take notes only when I had things that was like, that's relevant and I could adapt this way. So for instance, I love that he explained the different ways that monarchies function, and that there are some that are like mix of succession and elective, and that's sort of what my system is like a mix of both, where I wanted to have a rotation of 6 families who get an emperor elected each at a time, amongst the 6 families, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's not the son of blah blah that becomes the next emperor. It's the next family in line gets to elect their own emperor, if that makes
My
sense.
royal family rules by divine right, by the right of God, or the mother, as God is called on this island, Island Kingdom.
I do want more on religion. Did he write religion in the first one?
I think because we did read religion.
Yes. Well,
Polytheistic religion.
polytheistic religions, and then there's some bits about empires as well. Yeah.
Death and afterlife, which is kind of religious. But yeah, my royal family in my fantasy project, my Prince Caspian project, rules through divine right. So I like the monarchies a bit too. I thought it was an interesting read, but I think I keep saying it, but I think this is one where you cherry pick what you need for whatever project you're writing, and not necessarily what you would read brim to brim. Like, for example, Save the Cat.
Yeah, and I feel like this one in particular is probably the best one out of the 3 because it has the most on world building, and like even the first one, because I've got it here, only has this much on world building.
Yeah.
But again, just make one book about all the world building stuff. That's what I want.
Yeah, just make your little Notion file.
Yeah, I'll write him a little message and be like, who the fuck
you know how people took all the 3 Hobbit movies and cut it into like a master movie to like fit the narrative better? You could do that with this, just like cherry pick whatever you want and make it your project.
Yeah.
But yeah, some really good bits and bobs. As I said, I love the class system, even the magic system, because that's something I struggled with in my fantasy project, the magic system, which so I really enjoyed a good read there. But yeah, I think again, my complaint is it makes no sense. The pattern of the story, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But I did. I think this is where I had so many notes. Is I almost feel like my notes are divided in what I just said. Like one half is all about the monarchy, like you, and the class systems, and I love that there's something about the rise and fall of empires, monarchies.
Midwest Princess. Oh yeah.
And yeah, but mostly of the class system divide, because I have a system of guilds as well in my story.
I have that too.
And he mentions guilds at some point and how they can sort of be the reason why you start having change. I think it was like in the peaceful change thing, there was like the barriers to class mobility do lower, and then that's how you start having a slow change from the class system you had before. And I think that's where, he mentioned things like guilds, specialties, access to education, things like that help with that. And then you have the violent change. And I feel like my own class system is going to be a mix of both. So you need a little bit of
Mine too.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, this
but
was
I feel
really
like that's
good.
very common though. A bit of both. Like you have initial social change, and that kind of like that's the powder keg that the violence sparks.
Yeah.
Sort of, which is my approach. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it would definitely worth a worth a read.
But also
and
worth
as
a
I said-
watch because he talks about it on
Oh.
his channel as well, I'm sure.
Touche. Yeah, I think generally the world building chunk is good in this one. I enjoyed it.
And
It was not a chapter where I was like, this could, except for maybe hard versus soft world building, as you said. That felt like an essay.
That's what they said, though. Like, he wrote this essay with another person, like a girl. Whose name he mentioned at the beginning.
Which we should remember. We should have written it down.
It says Ellie Gordon.
Oh, Ellie Goulding? I'm just kidding.
No, Gordon. Like Gordon Ramsay.
But yeah, that's the only one where like, it does feel a bit like everywhere, everything all at once.
Yeah. But I liked the examples in these chapters as well. I really enjoyed all of the Tolkien examples for the names of places as well, because as we know, Tolkien, having made his own freaking language and all that, is definitely someone to follow in linguistics. So that was really interesting, like how to name places. And there was something else as well about locations that was really good. The cities and town stuff. Yeah, in the cities and town stuff, all the mentions of where naturally you would find bigger bouts of population and why they would gather around certain areas. And I love that there was not only just the stuff I already knew, like, oh yeah, near a river, because that makes perfect sense, but it was also this place was considered a shrine, and therefore there's a religious reason why people would start gathering around it and make this place become like a capital, etc., etc. So I thought that was all really useful information to build your world in your mind.
Yeah, my capital city is set on the spot where like the royal family first set their foot on the island.
I love that.
Definitely reverberated within me. These
something very Targaryen about that.
Well, mine is more Viking inspired because I'm trying to. It currently lives as a very bland Old English medieval shtick, but in the rewrite, I plan to do it very like Viking-esque and like Nordic inspired because there's not a whole lot of fantasy books about it, and I feel like it makes sense for me. I think that's what we have to say about this book so far. Do you have anything you want to add on world building?
No, I think we've mentioned everything. It's like I really enjoyed all the world building part, to be fair. I still think that some of the writing advice is useful, but it's just that it's not the best we've read, and I feel like you can get more concise advice in other craft books. So
I feel like, for example, K.M. Weiland does that job well, where she gathers like all characters' information into one book and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense for my logically oriented brain, at least.
Yeah.
As always, we're gonna wrap up with some questions, Malin. First and foremost, who is this book for?
I think, although I normally say for everyone, I'd say this book is more for people who are writing sci-fi fantasy. Although I'm sure it could be useful if you're writing other types of fantasy that aren't epic. Like, I still think it's going to be useful for me in some of my urban fantasies that use our current world. But in general, any fantasy setting, any sci-fi setting, these books are great for.
Yep, I agree. I think these books will be good for people who's already a fan of the channel and the stuff.
True.
You can definitely pick up his voice in how he's structured it. We both mentioned it's a bit rudimentary in some of its writing advice, so I think this is a good starter book. If you just want to expand your craft book library with something, like I think this is a nice one to have.
Or even if it's for someone who might not want to read other craft books because they're not into craft books in general, this is craft book light. So you've got a bit of both in these books. And if you're not going to read anything else, this is useful. For sure.
Do you see yourself using this actively in your own process? We already talked about how we use it in our process, but
I mean, I've got my notes. I'm going to continue using it. Yeah.
I think it's definitely good to go in when I'm outlining or reverse outlining and be like, okay, my mentor character, what am I doing with her? Let me read the chapter he has on mentors and see what I'm supposed to do with them.
Yeah, I think
Um,
the nice thing about it is, although I'm currently using it for a specific project because I'm world building in advance, I know that when I get into any other projects in the future, I can dip back into it and be like, oh, I've not used that chapter much last time, but this time it would be really useful. So it is, like you said, a pick and mix.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best way to read it. Yeah, I do not recommend reading through this entirety from brim to brim. Choose the chapters that are relevant to you and your process and go for it. I also think that the summaries at the back of each chapter are maybe
Yes.
often more useful than the actual text.
Yeah. I mean, I like having examples for a lot of it, but for the writing part especially, I think just reading the summary is probably enough for a reminder if that's all you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Roll the die. What is the rating out of 6?
This is a hard one because if I were to rate just the world building section, it would be a 6 for me.
Oh.
But if I were to rate...
This book is an entirety of its own.
Yes, exactly. So I can't. So I think it's a 4 because I mean, like the writing section to me is like,
Whatever.
I don't care about it. So
I'm giving this a 5. I can't remember what I gave the first one, but I feel like this is a notch above that in terms of things.
Were
that
you
I'm
already
interested
doing
in.
the roll the dice system when we read the first one? I don't remember.
I think so. I've been doing it for quite a while.
And I don't remember what I rated.
I think we might have given it 4s maybe. But yeah, this one is a notch above for me. I enjoy this more than I did the others, probably because of the extensive world building section, because I love world building.
Yes. To be fair, yeah.
And that's been all. Let me see. Any comments? Wendy was joking. Sorry. Being a bit unable to communicate properly is the story of my life. I'm also reading comprehension 0. Illiterate, Wendy. Illiterate. Am I? I'm writing contemporary, but it's a small town, so there's still some world building to do, which I did not really realize how much when I started, because I want to write other stories in the same town. So apparently it matters. I love like standalone in the same universe situations.
Yes, I love that as well. And it's
I think
a
that's
very Hallmark movie vibe, to be like.
Yeah. I think that's going to wrap up our conversation about On Writing and World Building Volume 2 by Timothy Hickson. Do you have a closing argument, closing statement, whatever it's called?
I feel like I don't have arguments about this. Yeah, no, I just really enjoyed it and definitely recommend anyone to read his books. But I also feel like now that I have read the books, I mean, I know the third one, I'm not going to read it, but I'm probably just going to go on his channel instead and pick and choose bits from his channel that are specifically about the topic I need, I think.
I think that's fair. I think, yeah, do not recommend it, reading it from brim to brim. Cherry pick whatever you're interested in, whatever you're working with. Yes, summaries at the back are useful, and I think this is I think you get a good amount of craft for your money from this one, and a good amount of world building. Question
from Anna.
Ooh, what's on deck for 2025?
Craft books.
Ooh, I was thinking about.
Is this your last one? This is the last one of the year, right?
This one is the last one of the year because it's December, so that's how that works. I'm not sure if I'll continue doing crafts writer chat streams.
Okay, can I say as a closing statement to the year of reading craft books with you, because I have read so many out of the ones you've done. When I sat down and realized, holy shit, my writing skills have improved so drastically that I half hate everything I've written in Demons and I need to change most of it, and I'm rewriting so many chapters. There was a part of me that was like, I reread this not that long ago, like last year, and I didn't have that same moment of realization and just sudden improvement. What has happened? Like, what is the difference? And I was trying to analyze everything I've done this year to get to this stage where I feel like such a better writer. And I feel like at the very least 50% of it has to be that I read so many fucking craft books with you. Like, it has to be part of it, at least.
Well, I'm glad you learned something. I'm happy to hear. Happy to be of service. I mean, there's a billion more craft books out there, so never say never. But I was thinking about maybe do sort of a poll system where I like present 4 books and then people can vote on whatever they want me to read for each month. but I'm not sure how to kind of organize that.
Mm.
So we'll see. Currently, I don't plan on returning with Writers Chat. It's a lot of work that goes into reading craft books, especially
Yeah,
when you read it like analytically for a stream. And I
I
have
know.
read 10 this year and a couple of last year.
Would you
So it's
consider
pretty intense.
doing one per quarter, for instance? That's not too much.
That's not too much. I could do that, maybe. I could do that. Because at some point, you're just reading craft books to read craft books and not
Yeah.
necessarily because I want to read them. Though I do have I have
I'm
a
not
long list of books.
pushing because I get that like life gets busy and you can't always just read craft book every single month, especially if you're doing better reading at the same time, reading your own stuff and trying to read for pleasure as well. Like it's a lot of different readings. But
Yeah.
once every blue moon, one could turn out to be very interesting and useful.
Once every third moon, maybe. We'll see. It might be back, it might not be back. I don't know. If people are like, oh, I want to read this book, or ooh, could you read this book? I will probably read it and make a
Okay.
live stream. So I'm not saying no, but for now, I don't plan on returning with this because it's been a lot of craft books this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like it takes a bit of time away from reading for pleasure and writing. Especially like, yeah, because I do take some time reading these. It takes me about 2 weeks to get through it, depending on the book. Breaks are good too, but I do like the idea of doing it one every quarter. So maybe I'll do that like at some point. We'll see.
And can we ask for a tier ranking at some point of all the craft books you read this year?
Ooh, maybe that's the first stream of 2025. Who knows?
Yes.
I think that'd be fun. Or maybe I'll just do an extra stream for that. Are you streaming this Thursday? Because you're going away. But yeah, I might do a stream on Thursday because I have Thursday off. So
I am going away. Yeah, I'm busy, unfortunately. I'm seeing people. God damn it.
yeah. But you can watch the replay.
Yeah.
I do need to get stuff done because I'm leaving for the holidays on Saturday.
Mm.
So I do need to do packing and organizing stuff. But yeah, this is going to wrap up the 2024 streams. This is, if I don't do Thursday, this is the last stream of the year. Going away for the holidays, so there'll be little to no streaming over Christmas, and I'll be back in the new year on another Tuesday. I'll be here, and I'll see you some Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here all year, Malin. You've been amazing. Like,
I've enjoyed
I
this
love
so
it.
much. You have no idea.
I love having you here. It's always fun to schedule time to hang with the friends and then record it for the internet.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who's participated, everyone who's read the books, everyone who's like leaving comments. I appreciate it. It makes it a lot more fun. Though at the end of the day, I'm just like glad to hang out with Malin and read them. But I do appreciate that other people are also stopping by and voicing their opinions on the bunch of books that we read. But yes, so goodbye, and you were bigger the whole sky.